With the arrival of online textbooks, students can now buy either a hard copy for $80 or just the online subscription for $60. If the company makes $3,600 in one order, how many of each version was purchased? So the first thing we need to do is set up our variables. So if we let x be the number of the hard copy books and y be the number of online. Now, because the hard copies cost $80, we'll have $80 for every X, or for every hard copy book that's sold, and the number of that will be X. And we'll have $60 times the number of the online copies sold. And in the one order, they made $3,600. So next we need to find a general solution to this. And just by inspecting, we can see that 3,600 divided by 60 gives 60. And that would mean that 0x is sold. So our general solution, x naught, y naught, are 0x and 60y. And of course, in our equation, we can see that a equals 80, which is the coefficient of x, and b equals 60, which is the coefficient of y, for when we're trying to find our highest common factor and then our general solutions. So next we need to find our highest common factor of a and b, which is the highest common factor of 80 and 60. Now hopefully by inspection you can see that this value is going to be 20, and that's going to equal D in our general solution equation. So our general solution is given by x equals x naught, which is 0, plus b, which is 60 divided by d, which is 20, times the parameter t. Similarly, y equals y naught, which we found above in green to be 60, minus a, which we found was 80 from our equation in red, and then divide that by d, which is 20 times t. And of course our parameter t is an element of the integer sets. But before we go too far, we need to also take into account the real life context of this question. So we can't sell a negative number of subscriptions or hard copies, so we need to make sure that the values we get for x and y are both positive or 0. So here's a graph of the linear Diophantine equation with all integer solutions that are positive or 0 marked. In green, the 0, 60 was the general x naught, y naught that we had before. From before, we know that our general solution was x equals x naught, which was 0, plus 60 on 20, which simplifies down to 3 times t, and y equaled our y naught, which was 60, plus 80 on 20, which is 4t, and we had t is an element of the integer set. But now we want to narrow down this integer set, and we want to check what values of t will make sure that x and y stay positive or 0. So hopefully down here you can see that if we look at the x, and if t is equal to 0, we get y equal to 60, which is the green point marked up the top. And then we can let 3t go all the way up to equaling 45, which means we can go for t equaling 0 through 1, 2, and then all the way up to 14 and 15. So our general solution isn't t is an element of integers anymore. Once we take into the real life context, it's important that we note that the t can only vary between 0 and 15. Outside of that, you'll have negative subscriptions of either the hard copy or online copy being sold.